Hey bookworms, welcome back to Bookcast, the channel that's all about helping you hit those goals, whatever they may be. And today, we're diving into a problem I know a lot of you can relate to. You're amazing at something, right? Let's say it's baking. You make the most incredible cakes, cookies, pastries. People are practically drooling just thinking about your creations. So you decide, I'm done with this boring job. I'm going to open my own bakery and become the cake boss.
Sounds delicious. I can already smell those fresh baked cookies, but
There's a catch, isn't there?
there is. You pour your heart and soul into this bakery, working day and night. But instead of cake-fueled bliss, you're facing a mountain of paperwork, a never-ending to-do list, and you haven't slept in what feels like a week. Suddenly, that dream of being the cake boss feels more like a nightmare.
Yeah. The classic tale of the talented technician turned overwhelmed entrepreneur. And it's not just bakers, it's anyone who's amazing at what they do, but maybe not so amazing at running a business. Exactly. And that's where our deep dive for today comes in. We're tackling the E-Myth Revisited by Michael E. Gerber. This book is like a life raft for anyone drowning in that sea of entrepreneurial chaos.
What Gerber does so brilliantly is expose this common misconception, the idea that being great at something automatically translates into being great at running a business built around that skill. He calls it the E-Myth, the entrepreneurial myth.
Just because I can bake an award-winning apple pie doesn't mean I can automatically open a successful bakery. I heard it's breaking a little.
It's tough to hear, but it's the reality for so many businesses. In fact, Gerber cites a pretty startling statistic right at the beginning. 40% of businesses fail within the first year. Imagine that. You pour your savings, your time, your passion into this venture, and within a year, it's gone.
Ouch. That's a serious wake-up call. So it's not about lacking talent or passion. It's about something else entirely.
Precisely. It's about understanding the difference between being a technician, the baker, the coder, the dog groomer, and being an entrepreneur, the CEO of your own little empire.
Okay. I'm sensing a theme here. We need to be more than just technicians. We need to level up our entrepreneurial game. So how do we do that? Does Gerber have a secret formula hidden in the pages of this book?
He does, and it's not as complicated as you might think. Gerber introduces this concept of wearing 3 hats in your business: the technician, the manager, and the entrepreneur.
3 hats. So now on top of baking cakes, I have to accessorize. This is getting out of hand.
Don't worry, it's not about literal hats. Think of it as different roles you play within your business. The technician is the one who's actually doing the work, the baker in your case. They're the expert, the artist, the one with the magic touch.
Right, so that's me, covered in flour, creating those delicious masterpieces.
Yeah.
What about the manager then? What kind of hat are they rocking?
The manager is all about systems and processes. They're the ones who create order out of chaos. They handle things like scheduling, inventory, ordering supplies, basically ensuring the bakery runs smoothly.
So if the technician is the artist, the manager is the external trainer, making sure everything is on track and efficient.
Perfect analogy. And finally, we have the entrepreneur. The visionary, the dreamer, the one who sees the bigger picture. They're thinking about the brand, the long-term goals, the future of the bakery.
So the entrepreneur is like the CEO, mapping out the bakery's journey to world domination.
Exactly. And here's the thing. Gerber argues that most business owners get stuck wearing just that technician hat. They're so focused on doing what they love, they neglect the other 2 crucial roles.
I can see how that happens. You're so passionate about your craft, you want to do it all yourself. But it sounds like that can actually be a recipe for disaster, right?
It can lead to burnout, overwhelm, and ultimately to that heartbreaking 40% failure statistic we talked about earlier. Remember, you want to build a business that serves your life, not the other way around, and that requires embracing all 3 roles.
Okay, so we need to balance these 3 hats, the technician, the manager, the entrepreneur. But where do we even begin? How do we know which hat to wear at any given time?
Gerber outlines these distinct stages of small business growth, and he explains how the balance of these roles shifts as your business evolves.
Ooh, business growth stages. Tell me more. I'm ready to level up.
He starts with the infancy phase, which is where most businesses begin. It's that exciting, but often chaotic time when you're doing it all, wearing all the hats, fueled by passion, and maybe a little too much caffeine.
Ah, the hustle. I think we've all been there at some point in our entrepreneurial journey.
And it's in this infancy phase where the E-Myth often takes hold. You're so focused on being the technician, perfecting your craft, that you neglect the manager and entrepreneur hats.
And that's where the burnout comes in, right? You're working yourself to the bone, trying to do everything yourself.
Exactly. And it's also where you're most vulnerable to that high failure rate. So how do we escape this infancy trap? Well, that's where the next stage comes in, the adolescence phase. Now, this is where things can get really interesting and a little messy if we're not careful.
Ooh, messy adolescence. Just like those teenage years, huh? What kind of entrepreneurial angst are we talking about here?
Well, this is typically when you start to realize you can't do it all alone. You need help, so you start hiring people. But often, that's where the trouble begins.
So instead of blissful relief, we get more chaos. I'm guessing this is where those manager and entrepreneur hats come in handy.
Absolutely. Adolescence is all about learning to delegate effectively. And that requires those managerial and entrepreneurial skills we talked about earlier. But here's the catch. Many business owners, still clinging to that technician hat, end up abdicating responsibility rather than delegating effectively.
So it's not just about throwing tasks at people and hoping for the best.
Not at all. Think back to our bakery example. Let's say you hire a couple of assistant bakers. If you don't have clear systems in place, detailed recipes, standardized processes, you'll end up with inconsistent results. Maybe one baker's cookies are perfectly chewy, while the others are burnt to a crisp. Chaos ensues.
Oof. I can see how that would lead to some serious cookie-induced stress.
And what happens next is that the owner, in a panic, jumps back in, tries to micromanage everything, and the cycle continues. They're stuck in this tug of war between wanting help, but not fully letting go of control.
Okay, so we're in the adolescence phase. We're trying to delegate, but we're not quite sure how to do it effectively. What's the key to breaking free from this cycle and moving into that blissful maturity phase?
Gerber has a surprising answer, and it involves taking inspiration from a seemingly unlikely source. McDonald.
Hold on, McDonald's, the fast food giant. What do burgers and fries have to do with running a successful bakery?
It's not about the food itself. It's about the brilliance of their system. Think about it. Anyone can walk into a McDonald's anywhere in the world and get the same Big Mac, the same fries, and the same experience. How is that possible? Because they've created a system so well-defined that it's practically foolproof.
Ah, I see where you're going with this. So instead of just focusing on baking the best darn cookies in town, I need to create a system that ensures those cookies are consistently amazing, no matter who's baking them.
Exactly. The E-Myth Revisited encourages you to think of your business like a franchise. Even if you never plan to actually franchise your bakery, imagine you were, what systems would you need to put in place so that anyone, anywhere could replicate your success?
That's such a powerful shift in perspective. It's not about being a one-person show. It's about creating a system that can run without you constantly having to put out fires. So how do we actually go about building this business prototype, this franchise-worthy system?
Gerber provides a roadmap, a blueprint, if you will. He lays out 7 key areas that you need to consider and document in what he calls a business development program.
7 areas, huh? Sounds pretty comprehensive. Give us the inside scoop. What are these magical 7 areas?
First up, we have the personal objective. And this isn't some fluffy self-help exercise. It's about getting crystal clear on what you want out of life and then designing your business to support those goals.
I love that. So many of us get caught up in the hustle, we forget to ask ourselves, what do I actually want out of this?
Exactly. Your business should be a vehicle for living a fulfilling life, not the other way around. Once you've defined your personal objective, you move on to the business objective. This is where you paint the big picture for your business itself.
So if the personal objective is about me, the business objective is about my bakery's world domination plans.
Well, maybe not world domination, but you get the idea. What do you want your business to achieve? What impact do you want to have? What's the ultimate vision?
Okay. I can see how defining those objectives from the start would keep you focused and motivated. What comes next in this business building adventure?
Next up is the organizational plan. And this is where things get really strategic. Gerber says we need to think about organizing our business around functions, not just people.
Functions, huh? So it's not about hiring Bob the baker or Sally the salesperson. It's about figuring out what needs to get done, regardless of who's doing it.
Precisely. What are the core functions of your bakery? Production, marketing, sales, customer service. Once you identify those functions, you can start creating systems and processes around them.
That makes so much sense. Because people come and go.
Yeah.
But those core functions will always be there. So you build a system that can outlast any individual employee. Yeah. Okay, so we got the big picture objectives, the organizational structure. What's next on Gerber's checklist?
Now we dive into the management plan, which is all about creating a system that reflects your operating philosophy and core values.
Wait, so I need a philosophy for my bakery now. This is getting deep.
But think of it as the soul of your business. What are the guiding principles that drive your decisions? What kind of culture do you want to create?
Okay, I can see how that's important. But it's not just about writing down some lofty ideals. It's about putting them into action, right?
Absolutely. Gerber emphasizes that your management philosophy should be baked into every aspect of your business, from how you treat your employees to how you interact with your customers.
I'm starting to see how all of these pieces fit together. So we've got our objectives, our organizational structure, our management philosophy. What's next on this entrepreneurial roadmap?
Next up, we have the personnel plan. And this is where we focus on building a team that's aligned with your vision and values.
So we're talking about hiring the right people, training them effectively, creating a positive work environment, all that good stuff.
Exactly. Gerber stresses the importance of making your employees feel like they're part of something bigger than themselves. It's about fostering a sense of shared purpose and creating a culture where everyone can thrive.
Right, because a happy team makes for happy customers. And happy customers mean a thriving business. Okay, we're cruising right along here. What's next on Gerber's list of business building essentials?
Next up is the marketing plan. And this is where we shift our focus to understanding your customer, inside and out.
Customer time. I'm all about connecting with those cookie-loving fans, but it's not just about knowing their favorite flavors, right?
It's about going deeper. Gerber talks about understanding their psychographics. What are their values, their aspirations? What makes them tick?
Psychographics. Sounds fancy. Give us an example. How does this apply to our hypothetical bakery?
Let's say you're selling vegan, gluten-free cookies. It's not enough to know that your target customer is health conscious. You need to understand why. Do they value ethical consumption? Are they concerned about environmental sustainability? By understanding their deeper motivations, you can tailor your marketing message to resonate with them on a personal level.
Wow, that's so insightful. It's like taking those customer relationships to a whole new level.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got personal objective, business objective, organizational plan, management plan, personnel plan, and marketing plan. We're on a roll. What's the final piece of this business building puzzle?
The grand finale is the systems plan. And this is where you integrate all those individual pieces into one seamless, well-oiled machine.
Systems plan, okay. This sounds like where it all comes together. I'm excited.
It's where you take your vision, your values, your processes, your people, and your marketing strategies, and you weave them into a cohesive system that can run smoothly and efficiently.
So it's like creating an operating manual for your entire business, from how you make a cup of coffee to how you handle a customer complaint.
Exactly. And Gerber points out that there are different types of systems. Hard systems, like your equipment and technology. Soft systems, like your communication protocols and training procedures. And information systems, like your sales reports and customer databases.
Right, so you've got your tangible stuff,
Yeah.
your people stuff,
Yeah.
and your data stuff.
Yeah.
And the systems plan is about making sure they all work together harmoniously.
Precisely. Think of it like an orchestra. Each section has its own unique part to play. But it's the conductor, the system, that brings it all together into a beautiful symphony.
Okay, I'm starting to get this.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling there's more to it than just creating a system and then sitting back and watching the dough roll in. Yeah.
You're absolutely right. Building a business isn't a set it and forget it kind of deal. It's an ongoing journey of innovation, measurement, and execution.
So it's not about creating the perfect system on the first try. It's about constantly tweaking and refining it as you go.
Exactly. You need to be willing to experiment, to track your results, and to make adjustments along the way. And that leads us into the final stage of business growth, the maturity phase. The maturity phase.
Okay, maturity. I'm ready to graduate from the school of hard knocks and finally achieve that sweet, sweet balance Gerber talks about. But tell me, is maturity just a fancy way of saying my business is finally running itself and I can spend my days sipping margaritas on a beach?
Well, it might involve some margaritas, but it's more than just kicking back and relaxing. Maturity is about achieving a sustainable level of success where your business is running smoothly, your team is thriving, and you've finally freed yourself from the tyranny of the technician trap.
So it's not about the business running itself. It's about you running the business on your terms.
Precisely. You've successfully transitioned from working in your business to working on your business. You're no longer the bottleneck, the sole point of failure. You've built a system that empowers you to step back without everything falling apart.
Okay, I'm definitely feeling that entrepreneurial FOMO starting to kick in. But let's rewind a bit. We've covered a lot of ground today. From the E-myth itself, to the 3 hats, the stages of business growth, and those 7 key areas of Gerber's business development program is a lot to digest.
It is. But remember, it all boils down to a simple but profound shift in perspective. You're not just a baker, a coder, a dog groomer anymore. You're an entrepreneur, a business owner, a leader.
And that means embracing those manager and entrepreneur hats, creating systems, building a team, constantly innovating and improving.
Exactly. And as we wrap up this deep dive into the E-myth revisited, I want to leave you with one final thought. Gerber talks about how, for many entrepreneurs, their business becomes their greatest teacher.
I love that. It's like this ultimate personal growth challenge, disguised as a business venture.
It forces you to confront your weaknesses, develop new skills, step outside your comfort zone, and ultimately, become a better version of yourself.
So the E-myth revisited isn't just a guide to building a successful business, it's a roadmap to personal and professional fulfillment.
Absolutely. It's about creating a life of meaning and purpose, both inside and outside of your business.
Wow. That's truly inspiring. We highly encourage you to check out the E-myth revisited for yourself. It's a game changer, folks. And it just might revolutionize the way you approach your business and your life.
And as always, we'd love to hear your thoughts. What resonated with you the most? What are your biggest takeaways from our discussion today? Share your insights in the comments below.
And hey, if you enjoyed this deep dive into the E-myth revisited, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to Bookcast for more life-changing book breakdowns, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep chasing those entrepreneurial dreams. And if you have any ideas or topics you'd like us to cover in future episodes, drop them in the comments too. We're always looking for ways.